Garbage that no one wants to watch. And while Rachel Zegler has been taking most of the heat, word on the street is she's now pointing her finger straight at Gal Gadot and putting the blame squarely at her co-star's feet. Let's break this down, because it's juicy as hell. Reports are coming in from everywhere that Gal and Rachel absolutely hate each other. These stars? Not friends, not even close. Entertainment Tonight has learned there's been serious tension between the Snow White leading ladies, and they're not close by any means. Remember those press junkets where they claim to get along great? Pure Hollywood fakery. When interviewers would gush, "You two clearly respect and love each other," the reality couldn't have been more different. Once upon a time, there were two actresses cast in Disney's big-budget Snow White remake. Rachel played Snow White, the sweet princess, and Gal played the evil queen, the one constantly asking her mirror, "Who's the fairest of them all?" But now that the movie's finally out, no one's talking about how magical it is or how cool the costumes are. Instead, everyone's gossiping about the drama happening behind the curtain, as why exactly is everyone assuming there's tension between Rachel and Gal? It all started when Rachel posted something on Instagram, a gushing thank you about how special the movie was to her. She shared happy memories, hugs, and smiley photos with her teammates, even saying the movie changed her life. But people noticed something strange. Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, was completely left out. No tag, no picture, not even a tiny mention. It was like she'd vanished into thin air. That's when fans went into full detective mode. They weren't talking about the movie anymore. They were all wondering, was this a mistake, or did Rachel do it on purpose? Is there secret beef between the two? So instead of talking about magic mirrors and fairy tales, everyone started buzzing about this mysterious missing shout-out. As it turns out, they weren't just different in the movie. Princess versus evil queen. They're super different in real life too, especially when it comes to something really serious. Politics. Gal is from Israel and has been very vocal about standing with her country. "I'm going to say it again. My name is Gal and I'm Jewish," she stated proudly. She even served in the Israeli army when she was younger. Meanwhile, Rachel has been loud and clear about supporting Palestine. While they were still filming Snow White, Rachel posted a message online saying, "Free Palestine." A powerful statement that got people talking. It wasn't just a tiny ripple. It was more like a thunderstorm on set. "Your political views differ," adding to the tension, a source told People magazine. Because Gal and Rachel had such different views, things behind the scenes probably felt incredibly awkward, like trying to bake cookies with someone who wants to add hot sauce while you want chocolate chips. So when Rachel left Gal out of her Instagram appreciation post, people started thinking it wasn't just a forgetful oopsie. There was more to this story. There were reports that Disney's PR team tried to control Rachel's social media presence during the film's promotion. They apparently had her tweet out something like, "Yay, Snow White. Can't wait. So excited. I love to play her." She did it, and it got millions of views. Disney was like, "Good job, Rachel." But then, minutes later, she followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine." This was just months after October 7th, and Disney executives were reportedly horrified. And of course, her co-star Gal Gadot is Jewish and Israeli, which made the whole situation even more tense. What started as a fairy tale quickly turned into real-life drama, the kind even magic wands can't fix. While the actresses had their own opinions and took sides, the one who ended up taking the biggest hit was Disney. And of course, Snow White herself. But why exactly? Well, a lot of people who support Israel got really upset. Some people online, including a controversial Twitter account called it Stop Anti-Semitism, even accused Rachel of being anti-Semitic. But it gets even more complicated. While some folks were upset with Rachel, others who support Palestine were already saying they wouldn't watch the movie because of Gal Gadot being Israeli and her past in the Israeli army. The movie wasn't just a fairy tale anymore. It turned into a big storm of arguments online. People weren't picking teams like Snow White versus Evil Queen. They were choosing sides based on real-world issues. Because of all this drama, Snow White ended up getting the lowest IMDb rating ever, like 1.6 out of 10. That's officially one of the worst scores in Disney's history. And the wildest part? It wasn't even because of the movie itself, but because of behind-the-scenes drama. Talk about a nightmare for producers. You can bet they're probably wondering if they picked the right actors to film. But wait, it gets worse. Things got so bad that some theaters were practically empty during showings of Snow White. People online even shared pictures of super empty theaters during opening weekend, like rows and rows of lonely seats just waiting for someone to sit in them. And here's the real kicker. This wasn't some tiny budget movie. This live-action remake of the classic 1937 Snow White cost a whopping $270 million just to make. And then they spent around $100 million more just to promote it. That's like buying a giant castle and then renting fireworks to tell people to come visit. Only no one shows up. However, before everything went south, Gal and Rachel actually appeared together at the 2025 Oscars. They even went on stage to give out an award side by side, smiling, and everything looked fine and dandy. But eagle-eyed viewers noticed something odd. They never actually looked at each other the entire time, not even a glance. Now, this is really strange for co-presenters. As someone who's co-hosted many shows can tell you, that's the biggest dish you can do to someone. Not look at them. The internet wasn't fooled for long. After the show, Rachel left a little comment on Instagram that raised a lot of eyebrows. She called Gal a professional pageant queen. Now that might sound kind of sparkly and fun, like someone who's always pretty and polished, but the way she said it, people thought it was a little sassy and not in a nice way. According to some sources, calling Gal a pageant queen was seen as dismissive, like Rachel was brushing her off and not taking her seriously as an actress. She didn't understand the repercussions of her actions, as far as what that meant for the film, for Gal, for anyone. An insider said of Zegler, the film, helmed by director Mark Webb, has been played by backlash due to costly reshoots and Zegler's controversial posts after all the drama with Rachel and Gal. Some people started to wonder, was it all just a coincidence? Or did Gal secretly enjoy seeing Rachel get all the blame? Maybe she was a little smug knowing it was Rachel getting in trouble this time. But who really knows? Maybe we're just guessing at this point that Disney's PR team was working overtime. They were rushing to fix everything that was going wrong online after Rachel's comments. It was so crazy. They even brought in a social media expert to try and control what Rachel posted. But that was like trying to stop a hurricane with a broom. Rachel had already caused a lot of drama by criticizing the original Snow White animation and making fans mad. She kept making things worse. And it got so bad that a movie producer had to fly out to talk to her about what was going on. Yikes. Even Steven Spielberg, yes, the Steven Spielberg, apparently noticed all the mess. Talk about a big problem. After all the drama with Gal at the Oscars, Rachel didn't just sit quietly. Instead, she took to her Instagram stories to share her thoughts about all the backlash she was getting. She wasn't shy about talking about it. She made numerous comments, tried to explain how she felt about all the hate she was receiving. She didn't hold back. Rachel went on and on about how tough it's been, venting to her followers about the storm of online criticism. I never want to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities one have, she wrote. I could also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me threats. People were still buzzing about the drama between her and Gal, and Rachel wanted to make it clear that she wasn't just some villain in the story. Instead of staying quiet and letting the comments pile up, she decided to talk back and share her side. Everyone who hates when I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. Rachel posted cryptically. And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see. But guess what? It wasn't all smooth sailing. When you respond to drama like this, sometimes it just makes things even messier. And that's exactly what happened. More people were talking, more opinions were flying around, and the whole thing turned into even more of a social media soap opera. After all the drama, Rachel posted on social media saying Snow White was a life-changing and emotional experience for her. It sounded nice, but by now, no one really believed it. Why? Because people were still sharing photos of empty movie theaters and asking what happened between her and Gal. Plus, Disney's PR team was scrambling to fix everything. IT was like watching a disaster unfold in slow motion. Now, Snow White wasn't just a movie, it became a joke. People were poking fun at Disney for what looked like an identity crisis. They were trying to make a magical movie while dealing with real-world drama that was far from magical. And as for Rachel, she went from being a rising star to showing everyone how quickly Hollywood can turn on you when you mix big egos, politics, and a massive $270 million no-sense movie that bombed. It's like a fairy tale gone completely wrong. The story of Snow White was about a princess finding her happy ending. But Rachel's story turned into a warning about the dangers of fame, drama, and a whole lot of industry politics.